From 41 Action Sports, here's Monday Morning Quarterback, sponsored by TDR Auto Plaza, changing the way used cars are sold. Located on I-35 in Kearney, Missouri.
I mean, a lot of times on Monday Morning Quarterback, we have us media types breaking down the athletes and everything. This time, we had to settle for a few former football players, guys that actually played the game for the Kansas City Chiefs right here in town. Tim Grunhard, former Kansas City Chiefs center, joins us. How are you, Timmy?
And now we're going to break down the media.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Please don't ever do that. Please don't have that show.
The players are going to break you down.
Yeah, yes. no one will ever watch that. I'm confident that won't happen. Baldinger, former.
That jacket is really loud.
Richard Baldinger, former Chiefs and Giants offensive lineman.
Well, I'll tell you what, I came in tonight just to show a new hairdo for TV, so that's why I'm here. I can't wait.
It's a new hairdo for TV, not a new hairdo for Baldy. He's been sporting that since the 1980s when he was in New York with the Giants. And lastly, Danon Hughes, former wide receiver diva. How are you, Danon?
Yeah, fortunately for me, the wind outside did not affect my hair.
No, you're good, yeah.
Everything is in place, and I'm ready to go.
Good stuff, guys. We appreciate you coming in. Well, we had you coming in to talk about this easy peasy Chiefs win, getting back right and everything. Instead, they have lost 4 of their last 5. Tim and Baldy, we'll start with you because I think you guys think the problems start with the offensive line, your former positions, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Baldy, you and I, one of the things that I learned from you a long time ago, and we used to talk about it all the time, is, hey, in the first quarter, you know, some of those runs are going to be 3 or 4 yards, all right? They're going to be hard-nosed runs. They're going to be runs that maybe in the second quarter become, 5 or 6 yards, and then in the second half they become big plays. I mean, it seems like the Kansas City Chiefs are just not controlling the line of scrimmage. They're not showing toughness, and there's not a willingness by the offensive coordinator, whether it's Andy Reid or Matt Nagy, to stick with the run and run the ball and give Kareem Hunt a chance to get going in a game. They have not done that, and I just don't understand it. I really don't, because I think Dana talked about it a little bit earlier. 4 carries in the first half. Are you kidding me? This is one of the most prolific young running backs in the league, and he's got 4 carries. That's just not good enough.
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Timmy. And the other thing, the question mark I have, is why isn't Parker Anger starting at left guard?
He was unbelievable.
Our best lineman last year. We saw him in work. Whatever he did, he came in. The skill set he had in pass protection and in working on all those zone blocks, I was like, this kid is unbelievable. But yet we can't get him on the field. I think there was Zach Fulton over at left guard. I think he's a center, Timmy. There's a difference between playing center and guard. You know that well. And everything. Some guys are just better at the other positions, and I think he's uncomfortable there. So I think some changes have to be made up front there. We've got to get some consistency in this run game.
Your point about Parker Anger, I just don't get it. I mean, I don't think it's an injury anymore. I don't know. He was, to me, last year, he was the one offensive lineman that just came off the ball, showed a lot of physicality and toughness at the point of attack, and that's what they're lacking right now. Why isn't this kid playing?
Yeah. Dana, what do you see? Because the last few games, the defense has come under a lot of fire, and Bob Sutton in particular. But, I mean, yesterday, Chiefs scored 9 points. You're going to win any game scoring 9 points in the NFL.
You know what? And at the same time, they had only given up 12 points. So you can look at it from a scoreboard perspective and think, okay, well, the defense did their job. Well, they didn't. This team is kind of in a disarray right now. And the fact that they had 9 penalties for 87 yards. They obviously had the 3 turnovers, which was not indicative of this team's success early on in this season. They have some things that are spiraling downward, and I would have thought that they would have been able to clean it up before the bye week. And having these extended weeks with primetime games early and now the bye week coming off of that, this was very, very disappointing performance all around, going into a Giant stadium where you are supposed to not just win, but win by a lot of points, and you allowed them to stick around and get some life and keep some life.
And to Dana's point, they didn't have a sack. They had 1 quarterback hit, and that 1 quarterback hit was kind of a Zombo was kind of looking around, and then all of a sudden he said, I'm just going to go, and he hit him late, and he had all the time in the world. You got to get to the quarterback in the NFL. I think this is 3 games now where they don't have a sack.
Yeah.
And that's just unbelievable to me.
And, Tim, and add to that, the inside linebacker position, Derek Johnson, Ragland, it's not the same. Derek Johnson, I don't know what the issue is. We all know it's a torn Achilles, but it looks like it's becoming a major issue for him. And that's the guy, you know and I know, those type of linebackers you hated because he could jump around, he could run by you, he was a nightmare. but you don't see that inside, and that's a big difference in that run defense right now without him just plugging so many of those holes.
I mean, let's face it. What are you afraid of on the Chiefs right now? First 5 games, you saw Travis Kelce, you saw what Tyreek Hill was doing, you saw a brand new MVP caliber Alex Smith. But now, since then, are you afraid of any aspect of the game or any player on this team? And the answer would be no. And I agree with you guys. The offensive line is not doing their job. Way too many penalties, not imposing their will on the opponents. And the defensive line are getting sucked up in a vacuum as well, getting pushed back on skates at the line of scrimmage. So that doesn't bode well for no matter which linebacker is in there.
Good stuff, guys. Quickly here, looking ahead, what do you think this team is going to become? You have to give me a record exactly, but do you think this team could be, better than what they have been, or is this kind of the same script we've seen the last couple of years? Good enough to win in the division, get in the playoffs, but then just kind of flame out. Where do you see it going, Tim, first?
Well, I mean, there's no indication that it's going to change in the playoffs right now. Maybe in the beginning of the year, I thought it was a little bit different, but they're going to win. They're going to win the division. The division stinks. It's just horrible. So they're going to win the division, and hopefully they can get 1 home game somehow, and have the Arrowhead Magic come back. But right now, there's no indication it's going to be any different.
Yeah, it's key, right, Baldy? Just position yourself for the playoffs, although they're not doing a good job of that right now.
Well, a couple things. I think, Denver, and also we know the problems out in Oakland. They should have gone to Vegas a long time ago. But the big issue, I think, right now for the Chiefs is these Chargers are getting better right now. Joey Bosa on that defensive side of the ball, he brings a different electricity to him. But I think the big thing right now, this is Alex Smith's legacy season. This is what he's going to be known for. Started off hot. The numbers now are beginning to cool off. He's got to be the guy that's got to turn this around. It's on his shoulders to institute a different type of attitude on the field. He keeps saying it week in and week out. We've got to find a way to get going. Well, buddy, guess what? It's your job to get these guys going. We all know sometimes we all need a kick in the butt. That group needs it on that side of the ball.
All right, Dana, final word this morning.
Yeah, I'm going to say that there has to be a little bit more sense of urgency, a little bit more of a foot on the gas pedal mentality. You watch this game, they did not throw one ball, not one ball in this game, into the end zone, a viable throw into the end zone to a receiver. To me, you're not going to score points that way. But saying that, I am still encouraged, guys. I'm still encouraged because we don't want this team to be playing their best football now. We want them to be playing their best football in late December and January. They still have a lot of time to shore things up and get better.
And just hopefully that best football wasn't played in September.
Football, though, Dane,
we tried to end it on a positive note with Dana, but then nobody clipped Baldy's mic. Yeah, that was it. Tim, Baldy, Dana, thanks so much this morning. We appreciate it. It's been Monday Morning Quarterback.
This has been Monday Morning Quarterback, sponsored by TDR Auto Plaza, changing the way used cars are sold. Located on I-35 in Kearney, Missouri.